Hey friends, it's Lori. Welcome back to The Generous Poor, where we're saving smarter, spending intentionally, and pouring into a life we love. Today, we're starting something new here on the channel, and I am so excited about it. This is going to be our very first episode of what I'm calling Wealth Reset Wednesday. The idea behind the series is simple. Once a week, we pause, we reset our thinking around money, and we talk about the habits that quietly build wealth over time. Not in a stressful way, not in a shameful way, just small, intentional shifts. And while we talk, I'm going to be stuffing two of my savings challenge binders, my emergency fund and my 1 month ahead binder, which is one of my biggest priorities this year, and my sinking fund binders savings challenge. Nothing huge, exactly the opposite. We're doing tiny deposits, tiny savings, because one of the biggest lies we tell ourselves about money is that progress only counts when it's big, and that's just not true. Honestly, if progress only counted when it was big, most of us would give up in less than a week. We would never come back to our savings. And that's sort of what everybody does. It's like, if I don't have X amount of dollars to put away, what's the point? And the point is small, consistent savings actually adds up over time. And that's how you build your wealth. This Sunday I woke up, I looked outside and it was completely foggy. And after the winter we've had, snow, ice, storms, I stepped out and I thought, okay, this is very Scotland Yard feeling, because the neighborhood looked like a murder mystery. If Sherlock Holmes had walked down our street, I wouldn't have even questioned it. But the fog felt symbolic, especially while I was kind of thinking about the series and how I wanted to kind of tailor it and have it move. That's how a lot of people feel. That's how money feels for a lot of people. Not broken, not hopeless, foggy. You can't quite see the path. You know you should be doing something, but you're not always sure what the next step is. And that's really what the series is about, is clearing the fog. For a long time, I believed something about myself that turned out not to be true. I believed I wasn't good with money. Not irresponsible, not reckless, but just not naturally good at it. And when you believe that about yourself, something subtle happens. You stop looking closely, you avoid the numbers, you keep everything moving, but you never sit down and say, okay, what is actually happening here? And the funny thing is, when I look back now, I had the tools, I had the opportunity. What I didn't have yet was the mindset shift. The moment things started changing for me, when I finally sat down with the numbers and said, I'm not living in this fog anymore, I also realized my credit card balances were not going to politely solve themselves while I avoided them. They were very comfortable staying exactly where they were. High interest rates, and kind of putting things on credit, even though I had a mound of credit card debt. But anyway, let's start with our tinies. We're putting $50 into this binder today. I have $50 right here. And then I have $50 in little placeholders. And the reason I do it like this is because I am going to be keeping this money in the back. And I don't want all of these ones, especially when I'm going to be dividing them up through my binders. And so this is just the best way for me to work with ones and twos, and kind of divide up that money. There are 8 envelopes from various creators. And I love these little envelopes because tiny deposits teach you something powerful. Money doesn't grow from dramatic moments. It grows from consistency. And here's something I noticed once I started doing this. The emotional shift didn't happen when the numbers got big. It happened when I realized I could trust myself to keep showing up. And when that happens, money starts to feel calmer, which, by the way, is a wonderful feeling. Because for a long time, money used to feel like a group project where no one did their part and somehow I still got the grade. Somehow, even me not looking, it was the next day, the calmness, it just snowballed and made everything just worse. So let me grab my dice tower. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to roll a 3-sided die, and I will put 2 placeholders placeholders on each envelope. So as we talk, so this one's going to get 3. And that's sort of what we're going to be doing, is we're going to be chatting. This is not, anything dramatic. It is not, we're not going to be playing really complicated games on Wednesday. Oh, I meant to put 1. We're not going to be doing anything that takes a lot of mental power away from the chat that we're having, because I want it to just be, this is what we do. This is a calm sort of space where we intentionally put away some money for our future self. And we'll start over. And that's sort of what I want you to start doing. I think everyone always, whoops, we'll put 1 here. I think everyone thinks that if I just had X amount of dollars, if I just had an extra $100 this month, things would be different. I could put it away. And one of the biggest shifts for me when I started cash stuffing was noticing the leaks. You know, I had a certain amount that I wanted to spend every week for groceries. And instead of thinking to myself, oh, if I save extra money, I can put that towards savings. Because I always thought $5 didn't matter, or, you know, it's, you know, it just didn't feel like it mattered. But $5 every week over the course of the year matters. Over the course of 5 years matters. Someone said something to me recently that really stuck with me. So we're going to start going through this. And that was, the vibration you're in dictates your life. And I started thinking about that in terms of money, because when you're living in financial stress, your decisions come from survival mode. You react, you avoid, you delay. But when you start building even small amounts of financial stability, your brain changes. You start making calmer decisions. You start thinking ahead. You start believing the future exists. And honestly, that's one of the quiet powers of cash stuffing. It helps regulate your nervous system around money. And honestly, anything that helps my nervous system when I open my bank app is a win. So let's grab, so we know what we're doing. This savings challenge is from Reynolds Budget, and we got one. So let's grab our twos first. So we got 2, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. I'm gonna put those right here. So we have 2, 4, 6, and 8. So we have, this one will collect 2, 4, 6, 8, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. So $20 will be saved once we finish that challenge. This one is from Shades Budgets, and it's You Are Loved, and we got 3. So we will just cross off 3. And I think this one is 4, 8, 12, 16, so $16. And let's just go through this. This one is Spring from Endless Budgets and Design. And you can go to people's Ko-Fi channels. You can go to a lot of people have these free digital downloads, and I love it. You don't have to spend a lot of money to do this. So you can even write it down and have, you know, envelopes like from the mail envelopes, paper, and start doing this. So 2, 4, 5, and 6. And this is Spring, so that each one of these is worth 2. Oops. And the snack menu from Be the Happy Turtle. And this one got 1, 2, 3, 5. And this one's going to save, so we'll do a 3 and a 2. And this one's going to save $20. These were the little quick wins that my brain needs to help me keep coming into these binders. Someone once said to me, like, oh, you know, you're doing this and you know, why not just move all that money into savings? And it's like, that's not how my brain, you know, I need to make it fun. I need to make it so that I want to come into these binders and do something that feels productive and fun. And me going into this, like, you know, if I have a grocery budget this week and I know I need $2 more to finish this challenge, I might think about that $2 differently than if I didn't have a place for it to go. So this is from the Rocking Witch. This is Topaz Treasure, and we save 5. So we do a 3 and a 2. And we'll put that in there. Number 6 this is really a cute one from Jukebox Hero, the Saver. And that's fun too, is I've had fun going into, you know, different shops and different things and finding, you know, savings challenges that work for me and that appeal to me. So 1, 2, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So this one saved 8. So we have 2, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and this one's going to save 10. So we only have $2 more left. So next week we'll be able to move some money over. That's the beauty of this. This challenge is Big Dreams, Tiny Savings from Krista at Fun Money Co. And this is 2, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And we got 4, 7, and 8. So we have $2 more left on that one. And our last challenge in our tinies is Thank You for Being Amazing from We Got This Studio. And we got 2, 4, and 5. So we're going to do 2, 4, and then we'll do half of one because I'm not going to roll anything over. And that is $50 into my tinies. And what I'm going to do is take the $50 bill that I budgeted for this game and put it in here in my completed. And as these envelopes finish, I will take this money out and move it over into my sinking funds. Just super fun way to play with your money. And now, this is the crazy part about this $50 is it is nothing dramatic. It is just forward movement and consistent forward movement. Always. It's such a changer. And next we're moving on to my minis. And today we are going to be putting, let's put this off to the side. Today we are going to be putting $100 into this binder. And these represent small savings goals like month ahead, emergency fund, and home maintenance. Because here's something that I've learned. A lot of things we call emergencies aren't actually emergencies. They're just life happening. It's life. The car needs new tires. The dog needs the vet. The house decides something expensive should break, usually on a Friday, late in the afternoon, when the repair companies are already checked out for the weekend. And it is a huge, huge, huge bummer, when that happens. And so, this money here is going to kind of move into those sinking funds to kind of, help with that. So we have 9 envelopes. And what I'm going to do with this one is I might use a 10-sided die. We only have 9, but I might use a 10-sided and reallocate. So I have, just like the other one, this one has 5s in it though. So we have $100 in placeholders, and I've kind of mixed them up. Let's mix them up again. And let's do this. Everyone is so much better at kind of doing these small little, let's see. Okay, so I think we're going to stop there. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to place 2 placeholders on wherever I land. And then we'll, chat. we'll chat about this one. This one's going to 1, so we'll put 2. Something that I've noticed after talking with so many people about money, that's a 10. Most people think their biggest, let's put this right here. Most people think their biggest concern or problem is income, and that they can't do it because of income. But a lot of the time, the real issue is clarity. If your money has nowhere to go, it disappears. But the moment that you start giving it small jobs, your entire relationship with your money starts to change. Our credit cards were just, we had such credit card debt, and I paid off our final bill in December, and it was so freeing and so calming. And I looked back and I was like, why did it take me this long to do this? I had to make some sacrifices. I had to stop putting additional money on our credit cards, but why did I keep doing that? And I kept thinking, I wasn't thinking about the future, and I wasn't thinking about how much credit card interest I was paying. I was sort of in a survival mode, and I wasn't looking at my numbers, and I didn't think in my head, because I wasn't looking at my numbers, I didn't think that the numbers, that I had the means to even chip away at everything that was going on. And the funny thing about my own journey is that when I finally sat down with the numbers and started paying off the debt, I realized something surprising, and that was the math really did work. My brain just hadn't believed it yet. And which I think it happens to a lot of us, is the numbers work, but our brains are still living in our old story. And so this series really is about rewriting your story and rewriting, your brain is, you have the tools to make this work. And it's going to be tight. If you're in sort of a debt payoff mode, it could feel like you're never going to finish. And I actually, when we sat down with our numbers and kind of wrote down everything that we owed, it was a lot. And that's great. I put it all on a spreadsheet. Okay, our last one is going to number 8. And it looks like everyone got some love. I wrote everything down and I was like, man, this is going to take forever. But it became sort of a challenge for me. I'm going to put this away. We are done with our dice tower for today. It sort of became a challenge for me because I was like, okay, every time I save money, I was like, extra money can go towards my debt. This extra money and, can help get rid of some of this high interest payments that are going to a bank when it should actually be going to me. So we have 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. And on my minis, each one of these is going to be worth 5. So this was from Reynolds Budget, and each one of these is worth 5, so it got 15. Let's pause for a second and get this done. This is from Bethany Budgets, and this is the candy stand. 2, 4, 6. Let's put these in order. Wow, this one got a lot. Okay, so we have 5, 10, 15, 17, 19, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28. Well, hold on. I need to recount this because there's a 5 in here that's a 1. So 5, 10, 15, 20, 2, 4, 6, 8, 31, 32. Wow, this one got 32. And this one will save us 60. So let's do 5, 15, 25, 32. And this one is a bigger saver, but I'm in a position to save a little bit more in this one. So I'm excited about that. And if you could only put a couple of dollars away, or, you know, let's see here, or you're in debt payoff mode, 5, 7, 9, 11, 12, 13, 14, and 15. And this is couch potato and each one of these is worth 5. So we're going to do 1, 2, 3, to a 15. And this is from Grounded Budgets. This challenge is from LV Budgets. And we have 2, 4, 6, 7, 8, and 9. 2, 4, 6, 8, and 9. How pretty is that? And that's it. It's like I look for challenges that were pretty, that kind of sparked my interest, and things that I want to come and show up and do. So this one got 4, and this one's from Tab Saves. And I'm going to do, we'll do 5. So we only got 4. We'll actually just do 4. So each one will have a, how cute is this one? Lucky you. Number 6 is from Budgeting with Chloe, and this one got 6. So we'll just do 1, and then, you know what I'll do is I'll keep 1 placeholder in here for next week. I'll put this one right here. And so we know that this one is for next week. This one is from Krista at Fun Money Co., and this is 3. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 12, 18, 24. So we'll do each one of these. We'll do $3 on each one. So this one got 3. This one is from Budgeting Mom of Girls, although it says Sarah Creates Design. I got this free off her Ko-fi. This one is 2, 4, 6, 7. So we will do 3, 6, and we'll put 1 in here for next time. Each one of these is going to be worth 3. Let's put this over here. 2, 4, 6. And we'll put this back in here. And our last one, our final one, how pretty is that? Is from Ellie on Earth. And this one got 5, 7, 8, and 9. And we'll do 3 on this one too. 3, 6, and 9. And that is it. That's it. Most of the time, the math isn't the hardest part. The mindset is, because when you've lived in financial stress for years and years and years, you start assuming that's just how life works. But when the balances start changing, like my credit cards, when debt starts to go down and savings starts growing, your brain starts saying, wait a minute, maybe this is possible. Maybe I can do this. You start thinking like, how do people save? How do people pay down their debt? And they do it with small, consistent steps. We just put in $150. We just saved $150 in my $50 in my tinies, $100 into my minis, $150 towards future me. And honestly, that's the spirit of this series. We're not chasing perfection. We're building financial calm, one decision at a time. Before we wrap up, I want to give you something new that we're going to be doing in this series. And each week is I'm going to share a midweek money move. Just one small thing you can do, nothing overwhelming, nothing complicated, just one tiny step. And this week's midweek money move is really simple. Open your banking app or your envelope, your banking statement, and look at your balances. That's it. Not to judge yourself, not to panic, just to look. Because clarity begins the moment we stop avoiding the numbers. Sometimes the most powerful first step in money is simply being willing to see it. Also, if you haven't looked at it in a while, take a deep breath. And I say that with love because even avoiding it doesn't change it. So that first step of just sort of recognizing and looking and sort of making a plan is one of the best things that you can do for future you. Thank you for hanging out with me today, friends. If you enjoyed this episode, please like and subscribe. It helps the channel so much, and I love having you here. And I'd love to know in the comments, what's the one small money move you're making this week? I love reading everyone's comments. I love interacting with everybody. This community has been incredibly kind and generous, and I feel very lucky to be part of it. But until next time, keep saving smarter, spending intentionally, and pouring into life you love. I hope you guys have a great rest.